Hello, this is Crypto Neptune, and once again, we are back talking about Telcoin. So, we're going to talk about some of the most recent updates. We're also going to talk about the referral fee structure because somebody was kind of asking about that and to elaborate a little bit more. So, we're going to dive into that quickly. And then we're going to look at a little bit of the Telcoin price action. So, we'll look at, the Telcoin price action, some of the buys and sales, and kind of see how that's looking from a volume perspective. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice, and you should always do your own research. And thank you to those who continue to support the channel. It definitely means a lot to me. So, with Telcoin, they recently put out this tweet on X, and I don't know what the equivalent of the name of a tweet would be called now that this is called X. It just kind of dawned on me. I just don't call it a tweet. I don't know if it's called an X. I don't know what the term is, but we'll just have to worry about that later. And then the whole cross between X and Twitter, I still do that like many of you. But as it reads here, it says 2 weeks remain for the Tel holiday promo extension. Deposit USDC into the Tel app from your bank account or your debit card this January and receive a Tel airdrop in February equivalent to your accrued transact fees. So this is big. So remember with Telcoin, they ran the promo in December far as you receiving an airdrop to the equivalent of the transaction fees. And Telfam did receive those airdrops in January, and they have extended that out as a courtesy to Telfam. So that's definitely big on them, kind of considering some of the events like over the last month. But to take it to the another level and say, hey, let's run the promo longer and allow people to transact within the app. So that is there for you. If you are not aware, if you, again, deposit that USDC into your Tel app from your bank account or your debit card, you will receive a Tel airdrop in February equivalent to the accrued transaction fees from Transact. So that is huge, right? So big on them and a great promo. And here, this is huge also. This is another opportunity in which Telcoin can essentially network and expand the brand. These events in Barcelona, there's roughly 80,000 to 100,000 people that attend these events. And it's, financial services people there. It's mobile network operators there, right? Different type of merchants and businesses, fintech, stock exchanges, you name it. They go to this event in Barcelona, and it's the MWC 24, right? So they will be there, and I want to say this is going to be towards the end of February, right? So this is a huge event. So Telcoin will look to have like a huge presence. Yeah, so it looks like it's February 26th through the 29th, and they're going to have a booth there set up to talk about Telcoin. And Telcoin in the past has picked up like a lot of networking opportunities. So look for this to be the staple and kind of help take Telcoin to the next level, right? And it's a big year for Telcoin, right? Because they have the test net, as far as with the mobile network operators also. So they're going to be rolling that kind of out in phases, right? So with that, it's kind of interesting to see how all that will play out, how many mobile network operators will onboard on. So this event in Barcelona, right, coupled with some of the things they're kind of doing with mobile network operators, maybe they'll get more network operators to be able to kind of test out, the test net and kind of rolling that piece of the network out. But, that could be kind of the catalyst to kind of kickstart Tailcoin. Again, not financial advice. So, kind of moving over to the referral fee rate. So, somebody was asking like how all this works, right? So, it says your referral fee rate is the percentage of your referred users' transaction fees you earn based on how much tail you have staked at the time of each transaction, right? And you can earn up to 42% of their fees in real time, right? So anytime I refer somebody to the app and they transact on the app, they get a percentage. I get a percentage of those transaction fees. The same thing applies to you. Anytime you refer somebody to the Telcoin app, and depending on how much you have staked, this will be the percentage of the referral fees that you'll get, right? So if you've staked, like, for example, 250,000 to, 999K, you'll get 32% of the referral fees. Yep, of your referral fees, right? So the more you stake within the app, the larger percentage of the pie you get in those transaction fees, right? So it's a nice incentive, especially when there's some high transaction volume and people are, doing like remittance transfer payments, or people are constantly trading different digital assets, up to 110 digital assets within the Telcoin app. This could explode, right? So, for me, yeah, I mean, it's some nice passive income to have that kind of come in, and I receive those tail rewards. So I would definitely, on your side as well, make sure you are referring using, showing people your referral link, having them sign up under you, and, you get a kind of piece of the pie, and then they kind of do the same thing, right? And this is kind of how it looks. How do I access, stake, and refer in the Tel app? And essentially how it does this. Now, if you have not downloaded the Telcoin app, this is how you would do it. You would click the earn button. There's a stake button here, right? However much Tel you have bought, click the stake button, right? And then how do I sign up with another user's referral link, right? And I'll leave my referral link in the YouTube description if you'd like to use it. And then so you stake your tail, and then you go on to do the referral code, have that entered, and then this is kind of how the next screen would look, right? And then it goes on to say, how do I stake tail? Click here, and you're gonna have to enter in the amount of tail that you want to stake, right? You can do however much tail you want to stake within the app. That's totally up to you, right? And then, it'll tell you here what your referral rate will be, right? So, in this particular example, this person would be getting like, 34%, right? Based on how much tail they have put into the app. Yep. So, and then you hit done, and, essentially you're good to go, right? And this is kind of the breakdown of kind of how it looks. You're starting off with no referrals. Then all of a sudden you start referring your friends and family to the app, and they start sending remittance transfer payments. They start trading the different digital assets. And lo and behold, you got 3 people under you now, in which each time they transact within the app, you're going to be getting a percentage of those transaction fees, right? So it's pretty neat. This is how staking is supposed to work. You know, Not some magic internet money just kind of coming out of thin air, but this is how true decentralized staking is supposed to work. You get a percentage of the transaction fees, right? And I like kind of how they do this, as opposed to you just staking on some random, centralized exchange, and you get they take your assets, move them somewhere, and you get a percentage of the staking yield. That's the definitely not the way we want to do things, going forward, considering all the things that kind of happen with some of those centralized exchanges, right? Celsius, Voyager, stuff like that. But with Telcoin, this is decentralized. They've proven that they kind of stand by their word, even in tough times. They stand by their word. They do what's right for the customer, and that is big. And that message is going to go a long way with how they treat customers, right? So yeah, I mean that's essentially how it looks, right? And then, once those rewards start coming in, you'll be able to claim those rewards. This is kind of an example of how the rewards would look. Confirm and claim rewards, and you're done. And then, those rewards will go into your wallet. Simple as that. So that's kind of how that looks. So I hope that helps. And again, referral link in the YouTube description. So now let's go and look at some of the Telcoin price action. Kind of what we're looking at. So we're looking at Tel on the Polygon side. This is kind of what we're looking at. We're sitting at a $98.1 million market cap, right? So still undervalued, right? And kind of think of all the things that Telcoin has done over the year, right? They've done a lot over the year, expanding into Europe, expanding the different digital assets within the app, strengthening and expanding that partnership with Transact. But even still, more and more eyeballs need to get onto Telcoin. And, just kind of looking at some of the volume, some nice buys here. Somebody bought $107 worth of Tel, so that's 84,000 Tel. There's people that's they're buying the bottom, right? Here's another nice buy for 227K Tel, right? And then somebody went a little bit heavier, almost $500, so $490.56 worth of Tel, right? And then you got some heavier sale here for $2,372, right? So this could be potentially somebody that's looking just to exit their position altogether, because right now you would be selling at the bottom. Yeah, so this definitely wouldn't be like a quick flip. They're selling at the bottom. This is what this tells me. Now, if there was like a huge run up in Telcoin's price, then that would be different. And let's, maybe they did some sort of arbitrage, because this is kind of like a similar. Well, no, it's a little bit different. Somebody bought here $2,251 worth, so 1.7 million Tel right off the rip. And let's see, can we see? Let's see if there are any sales like $500 or greater. Yeah, there's quite a bit of sales here. Just kind of looking to see if anything kind of jumps off the page within the last. Yeah, so a little bit of activity, and then as you can see here, 26K buys versus 24K buys, right? So it's a matter of, on the Polygon side, more of that volume peaking in. There's got to be some sort of catalyst in which people say, okay, I definitely want to re-enter my position in Telcoin, or some sort of big event. So that's why I can't emphasize this enough. For Telcoin, this is a huge year, right? The testnet and bringing on the mobile network operators, in which they can go out to their subscriber base and offer them some of the blockchain services that Telcoin has to offer, is huge, because essentially that's the advertisement, right? They can kind of connect to the Telcoin network and just tell their subscribers, hey, if you want, access to some of these different services that Telcoin has, remittance, transfer payments, being able to trade crypto, they can do it. But it's a huge year to kind of see how that plays out. Like, if it's done correctly, right, no mishaps, is done correctly, it could move this up as, kind of a shining star in the crypto space. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And then real quick, let's look at let's see if we can pull up Telcoin on the ETH side. Just waiting for that to kind of update. Telcoin on ETH. Let's look at this one to see. No, let's go back. That's not what I wanted. Just to see if this kind of updates real quick. Yeah, so let's look at this top one here. Yep. So, over here on the east side, looks like it's at, still roughly $99.3 million market cap, up 17.46%, right? And this is kind of what they're showing as far as like the volume. So the volume definitely would need to be, picked up. Now, this is not all of the volume. This is a definitely some of the volume to consider. Somebody here recently bought $368.63 worth, right? And then there's some sell off. Always good to have some nice healthy buys and sales, right? And again, this is just kind of like a snapshot of some of the volume that we're seeing. And then, there's a nice buy here for $934, right? So that's roughly 739K Telcoin. So this person here is literally betting on the future of Telcoin because of how they've gone about things, as far as the leadership team, how they've handled things, how they have expanded into different markets. Right, they're in Nebraska. They have offices in Los Angeles, Japan, Singapore. I want to say Australia. Right, how they've expanded globally. Right, and the potential with Telcoin Bank also coming into the pipeline. So that person, they're betting on the future, right? And then here's a sell off. Somebody, they may be disgruntled and they've sold, or maybe this is kind of similar. Maybe this is some sort of bot or something. Because I noticed this here is kind of like a quick buy and a quick sell. So I'm not sure what that is there. And then here looks like this one is somebody sold $1,409 worth, right? Nice buy here, $1,999, so 1.6 million tail. So, you get the point. It is nice to see like a little bit of green on both the Polygon side and both on the ETH side, so a little bit of green there. But, I tell you what, I mean, for me, I still hold my position. Like, it would not make sense for me to sell at the bottom, right? I have all the time in the world because we have a lot of events and things that are going to happen this year, some of which the Telcoin leadership team has not told us. So, for me, I'm just going to hold on, and at the same time, for me, like I'm diversified in other projects. So, you have some of the glory in other projects right now while those are doing well. At the same time, you have your bags that you're kind of hodling and then you're kind of waiting for the bull run 2024, 2025 that have potential. And the one last thing I want to leave you with is despite everything with Telcoin, they have been building in the bear market. They've been building and building and they have been building. It's just a matter of, those final pieces kind of coming into play to see how this is done. So, everything that they're doing now will set up to help them in the bull run is the way I'm seeing it. So look for a big push with Telcoin. And for the most part, I am pleased with like their social media presence. What is Telcoin? They're always putting out tweets and, they're up over a little under 100K. So I'm almost close to 100K in followers, but that'll continue to grow. So for me, with Telcoin, that is it. Thanks everybody for listening, and thanks for stopping by.